Hey guys, Sandy here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to Making with the Manufacturers. So, last time we did this, we did Gossamer Blue, and that means this week it is Graphic 45. Now, Graphic 45 is a beautiful, they make beautiful stuff. Like, look at this. These are beautiful. I think this one, oh, look, I don't even have them all together. Okay, I think they're all combined together. So all of these brown dotted ones, all of these green ones, all of these green ones, a blue dot that's got a very little small piece cut out of it. This blue floral, this red, and then that brown. Now, these are all from 2016, and it was the Children's Hour collection. This is February, December, June, August, November, October, and May. Now, on the other side of these papers, there are these things, right? And like, there it is. That's May. That's October. Here we have November, August, June, December. I got a lot of December in here. February. So these on this side, not really my style. Are there little things in here that I could cut apart and use? Yes. Especially the Christmas one. Like there's beautiful things in there I could cut up and use. But these papers are here for this, right? So how am I going to make all of these weird B-sides, cream-based B-sides, work? And some of the creams are lighter than other creams, right? Like some of them just seem to be lighter. So I'm going to figure this out. I will probably use my stash of scraps that lives off to my left-hand side, because basically these are all going to be B-sides. So let's see what I can do. All right, guys, so I did go look at my little pile of scraps, and I say scraps with finger quotes because I don't keep the tiny stuff. If you've been around any length of time, you kind of know that about me. It stresses me out, and I don't want to keep stuff that stresses me out, so they don't get to stay. Now, I have decided that I'm going to use this green kind of lined paper as the base of my layout, and I trim off a hunk of this blue floral and place it down. Now, my original plan was to use that green dotted Swiss cardstock that was in my stash, or well, of course it's in my stash, but, you know, off to the side in my little stash of scraps here. But ultimately, I didn't go for it. I do end up using a piece of that paper, but it doesn't make it onto the layout in a full across the page iteration. What does make it across the layout is this washi tape. Now, I specifically chose this washi tape because it had some numbers on it, and I'm using a pattern paper that has numbers. Now, the reason why I chose the pattern papers that I did was because they gave that same feel. So the Graphic 45 papers have like a vintagey type feel to them, and I went into my 6x6 papers and found these couple that had that same kind of feel. I believe they're from the Getaway collection, which is either Echo Park or Cartabella. They're the same company, so I don't, you know, they're interchangeable in my mind. So I went ahead and used those papers. Now I put the two little paper pad holes together and then used this newsprint paper or dictionary paper, book paper, to cover it up. Now, and I also used that maroon color to put around our photo because it was a little bit different than the rest of the main colors on the layout. So I wanted to pull in your eye to my photo because there's going to be a lot of pattern going on here. So I didn't want your eye to look at the page and go, what am I supposed to be looking at? You know, cross-eyed and all that kind of stuff. But I wanted you to be like, yeah, you should be looking at Christopher and Sandy. So I am trying to use that green piece of paper. I was determined to do it because I had pulled it out specifically, and I said specifically I was going to use some of my scraps. Now, this is the only scrap that makes it onto the page, and spoiler alert, I grab another sheet of graphic 45 paper to complete this layout. So I end up using 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that how many papers I used? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I used 4. Go me. So I'm trimming down my papers right here because I'm going to add in a border all the way around. Now, I was looking at my layout and counting the papers. So if I was holding my layout off to the side, it was because I was telling my husband, oh, look, scrapbooking a layout of us. He was FaceTiming me, so that might have happened already. It might not have, but you guys know me. I don't always look at my scrapbooking video while I'm talking to you, so that's a problem, huh? So anyway, I added that brown dotted paper around the outside of the layout, and I really think that that just kind of brings it in and contains it a little bit. So sometimes I want my layouts to kind of feel like they're just like out there and they could go on forever. And sometimes it's like this, where I feel the need to contain it. So I went to my vintagey feeling die cuts, and these die cuts are October afternoon, and I believe there's some jelly bean soup in there, and I think that might be it. These are the ones that feel vintagey to me, right? So I'm pulling out the pieces that I think will work. So the things that coordinate, the things that I just think will add something to the page. So this ends up being a pretty flat layout. I do pop some things up, but for the most part, this is a flat layout, right? Like, so I'm not too concerned about, adding a lot of dimension. Now, I did see that little ticket that says 365, and I thought, oh, how awesome would this be? My washi tape has numbers on it, which, you only see one of the numbers over there on the right-hand side, the 7/8. One of my background papers has numbers on it, so if I make my title, You Make Me Smile 365, that's just like this happy accident where it all comes together, right? Like, I did not go into this going, I'm going to use 365 and use all these funky numbers on my layout. I didn't even know I had the 365 ticket. It just happened, which is awesome. So, now, I am going to build up a little cluster over here. I'm using a frame and then a flower and a couple of labels to do that. And I am about ready to adhere things down now. Now this You Make Me Smile, need it to be on top of something because the words were totally getting lost over top of that pattern paper. So this is where I decide to go to my stash and pull out another sheet of this paper from Graphic 45. And then I cut it and I give myself that little base for You Make Me Smile to sit upon. And that just like just adds that extra little bit of darkness behind it and kind of like a solidarity thing almost, that it just works better. Now I do decide that I am going to pop this bad boy up on some fun foam, and I cut my fun foam super thin so that it can actually go over top of the back of the words here, and it will pop up nicely. Now, I don't spend the time to put fun foam over every single little bit of this die cut. I just don't think it needs it. So I'm going to put it in some strategic places and then move on with my life and scrapbook other things. So now, once that happens, I'm going to add some ATG and put that guy down. And I'm going to have this overlap ever so slightly over the photo, and then I'll pop up one side of the 365 because it's going to overlap that smile word. Now, this is a photo of Christopher and I. We are actually at Alcatraz on this day. I'm wearing my audio tour headphones and his are around his neck right now. We were actually, we paused the audio tour and went outside and we're looking at things. So the audio tour takes you through Alcatraz, but you can stop and linger and look at things and do all those kinds of things. So we were just in doing that. And I took a photo of us, and we're kind of wearing matching sweaters. So we knew it was going to be cold, and neither one of us owns a winter coat because of where we live. And it doesn't get cold enough to warrant a winter coat. We still haven't turned our heat on the entire time that we've lived in California. Now, the Californians, it gets down to 50 degrees and they're like, brr, it's freezing. How are you living? And I'm like, 50 degrees is great. But anyway, we're almost wearing matching sweaters. So they are Dale of Norway sweaters. And we have one of these wool sweaters, each of us, for such a long time. They are so warm and so comfortable, and I didn't even care that we looked like we were matching that day. Like, it just was great. So, if you know what a Dale of Norway sweater is, it's fabulous. As a matter of fact, I'm actually wearing Dale of Norway socks because my tootsies are cold. So there we are. Anyway, I started talking about the sweater in Alcatraz and all that. So as you can see, that's what I did on my layout. So I do journal on that little label up there, and I decide to add a little bit of texture to the page. And I do that with some enamel dots and also some of this gold splatter. But yeah, most of this is just a paper layout. And when it comes down to it, that's how I started. My scrapbooking was just paper, and sometimes it just gives my heart a little oomph of joy to scrapbook with all the papers. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to join the Scrapping Reflections Facebook group because tomorrow is February 1st and we kick off Follow a Sketch February. So you don't want to miss out on that. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I will see you again real soon for another video.